Hello and greetings to all brothers and sisters, whether from the First Nations of Canada, Native Americans from the United States, Mexico, Central America, South America, and the plethora of nations that comprise these newer nations that have been created since the last 500 and something years of occupation. The purpose of this channel, aside from being a channel through which I follow a lot of YouTube personalities as well as watch and rewatch videos that are of interest, is to bring awareness of a lot of issues that have to do with the cause of indigenous liberation and activism. Now, many are opposed, first of all, to using terms such as indigenous, indigenization, whatnot, saying that before the colonizers arrived, we were not indigenous, we were not First Nations, we were not Native Americans, we were just the people. That is very true. Like Trudell said, I believe it was Trudell, we are older than the concept of Native American. You know, we are the people. Something like that. I'll definitely go over that one because I thought I knew it off the top of my head. I do apologize. That is very true, but it is very important that we distinguish between this New World Order of greed, of materialism from what was before the invasion of the colonizers. And a lot of people say, well, the Aztecs had elites and the Incas, da da da. Yes, that is very true. There's always been greed. There's always been everything there's nothing new under the sun, like it says in the Bible, whatnot. However, there's also been sages. There's also been people who remind us, who restore the balance and whatnot. That's a totally different topic of a different conversation. But the important thing right now is that it is clear that colored peoples, particularly Aboriginal, Indigenous, Native groups everywhere, are suffering great peril because of greed, because of these major corporations driving them out. Forest fires, all this stuff that is occurring to original peoples who just want to live and thrive just like we do. And then we seek out missionaries to go spread the word of God so we can turn them into what? Consumeristic robots like us? As indigenous activists, as myself, as a colonized Chicano, whatnot, it is my goal and it is my purpose to do whatever I can through whatever avenue, in my case literarily, through the art of word, since I am a writer, to defend these original peoples, to ensure that their ways of life are secured and maintained and that they are not robbed of the human right that they possess, just like we do, to live and thrive however it is that their tradition dictates. And this is going to be followed by another conversation in which I'm going to speak about the prophecies, not only the one of Cuauhtemoc, which is the one I'm going to speak about particularly. His last words were that there was going to be this period of darkness. It's interesting to note that the name Cuauhtemoc comes from Cuautli, which is eagle, in descent, demo. So the eagle descended. There's darkness, which is the period that we're currently under. But this era, just so we do not lose all hope, it's taken 500 plus years, but this era will be followed by one of enlightenment, in which we will reconnect with the indigenous heritage and ancestry that we were disconnected from and robbed of. Now, I'm going to go into detail in another study, possibly Thursday, which is when I'll have time to develop the study plan. I want to comment on this YouTube channel as well as on my Facebook page, Brown Inspiration of the Ancients. I'll go ahead and set a link as to how you can get into that page to join in on a conversation. We're going to go into detail as to the symbolism of the sun, which thankfully, even though it was cold, it is now, look at that beautiful orb. The symbolism of the sun, the reemergence of the sun, eagles, all this beautiful symbolism. It's not only Mexico-centric for our brothers and sisters elsewhere in the continent. There's also Hopi prophecies. There's the Lakota seventh generation. So it's all connected. It's all foretelling this period that we're about to enter. There's also an old indigenous deity, God, if you may, for lack of better words. We're also going to have a discussion in another video of the concept of Aztec gods and whatnot, which is erroneous. But anyways, his name is Nanahuatzin, full of source. And this god was ridiculed because of his appearance, and everybody thought that it was going to be Else who assumed the role of bringing forth the next son. There was all these valiant gods, who were a little more, elevated than he, and he was the one who actually was brave enough to throw himself into the fire and bring forth another son, another era. So that's the same bravery and valor that we need to have as Chicanos, as First Nations, as Native Americans, and bring forth this new son. Everything that's happening from Evo Morales leaving really Bolivia and seeking asylum in Mexico, the rights of the indigenous people all over, which are being trampled on, from uh, the Dakota pipelines and whatnot. It's a collective wake-up call to all of us who are descendants of the original peoples of this continent and country hemisphere. Now, my book, which I'm also promoting, this is not to promote that solely, but my book is called Reconstructing a Brown Identity.